When a man says, "I need space," most women hear something entirely different. They hear, "I am losing interest. I am pulling away. This is the beginning of the end." But in many cases, my dear, that is not what he means at all. Welcome back, my dear. I'm WisdomAuntie, and today we are going to talk about one of the most misunderstood phrases in relationships. 3 words that can send a woman's heart into a spiral in an instant. 3 words that deserve a real, honest, grounded answer. Because what you do in the moments after you hear them will either ground you or quietly unravel you. Let me paint the picture I know many of you have lived through. Things have been going well. You have been spending time together, building something that feels genuinely good. And then, in a moment that feels almost out of nowhere, he says it. "I need space." Or perhaps it is softer than that. "I just need some time to myself. I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed lately. I need to clear my head." The specific words vary, but the message lands the same way. And suddenly, you are not thinking about the relationship anymore. You are thinking about everything that could go wrong. You replay the last week. You search for what you said or did that changed something. You check your phone compulsively, wondering if you should reach out or wait. You try to read into his last few messages, his tone, his silences, and underneath all of it is a quiet but persistent fear. Is this how it ends? I want to speak gently but honestly into that fear today, because the truth is those 3 words, "I need space," are some of the most misread words in the entire language of relationships. And here's the thing most people never tell you about this. What he means when he says those words and what you assume he means are very often 2 completely different things. I want you to understand something important about the way many men relate to emotion and closeness, because it is genuinely different from how most women move through intimacy. For many women, being close to someone they love feels natural. Connection is where they breathe. When the relationship is warm and present and consistent, it feels like safety. But for many men, particularly those who were raised in environments where emotional expression was not encouraged, or where needing someone was associated with weakness, sustained emotional closeness can feel like a pressure they have no language for. Not because they do not love or care, but because they were never taught how to process emotion while in closeness. They have to step away from it first in order to find their way back to themselves. Think of it this way. When a woman is stressed or emotionally overwhelmed, she often wants to talk about it. She moves toward connection as a way of processing. But when many men are stressed or emotionally overwhelmed, they tend to move inward, away from conversation, away from intensity, into solitude, which for them is not loneliness but recovery. So when he says, "I need space," in many cases what he is really saying is, "I am feeling something I do not know how to hold while being fully present with you. I need to step back to find my equilibrium." That is not rejection. That is a man showing you, clumsily perhaps, the limits of his current emotional vocabulary. And this is important. That explanation does not apply to every situation. There are cases where "I need space" is the gentle prelude to a man who is stepping away for good. There are cases where it is being used to avoid a difficult conversation, or to create just enough distance to keep options open. This is why his behavior after the request matters as much as the words themselves. A man who needs space and genuinely cares about you will return. He will come back with warmth. He will acknowledge the distance. A man who does not, or who uses "I need space" as a recurring tool to create instability, is showing you something very different. Now that you understand why this happens, let me help you recognize it in your own life. Pay attention to this. There are signs that help you understand what kind of space request you are actually dealing with, and reading them clearly can save you from a great deal of unnecessary pain. The first sign to notice is the context in which he asked. Was there an intense argument, a difficult week, or a period of particularly close and vulnerable connection just before he said it? If so, the request for space is more a need to decompress, to return to himself before coming back to you. That's different from a request that comes with no clear context, after a period where things have been inconsistent and his engagement has already been diminishing. The second sign is his tone and his specificity. A man who needs space and genuinely cares will often, not always, but often, show some awareness of how those words land. He might say, "I just need a few days to myself. It's not about you, I just get overwhelmed sometimes." That specificity and that reassurance, however imperfect, are meaningful. Contrast that with a man who says, "I need space," and then disappears without explanation, without warmth, and without any indication of when or whether he intends to return. The third sign is what happens after the space is given. This is perhaps the most revealing. Does he return? How does he return? Does he reach out with some version of warmth, of presence, of wanting to reconnect? For example, when a man comes back from his space and picks up where you left off, showing genuine interest, showing care, making plans, what he is showing you is that the space was about him, not about you. But when a man disappears into the space and needs to be pulled back, or returns cold and distant, that tells a very different story. The fourth sign is the pattern over time. Has he asked for space before? Does it happen regularly? And if so, what happens in between? If the cycles of closeness and distance are consistent, and he always returns with warmth and presence, you may simply be in a relationship with someone who needs more solitude than average to function well. That is workable if you are honest with each other about it. But if the distance keeps growing, if the returns feel shorter and cooler each time, pay attention to that pattern. So, what do you actually do when he says those words? I want to give you something practical, not rules, but wisdom. The first thing is to take a breath before you respond. In the moment he says it, your instinct may be to immediately ask what you did wrong, to reassure him, to negotiate, or to panic. None of those responses serve you. You can choose to pause. You can say something simple and grounded, something like, "Okay, I hear you. Take the time you need." Short, calm, with no punishment in it. That response tells him, and more importantly tells you, that you are not going to lose yourself over this. The second thing is to give him the space he asked for, genuinely, not as a test, not while secretly waiting for him to come back, but actually using that time to invest in your own life, your friendships, your rest, your work, the things that bring you joy and remind you of who you are outside of this relationship. A woman who fills her own life beautifully during the waiting is not just strategically wiser, she is genuinely healthier. And she comes back to the relationship, if and when he returns, from a place of fullness rather than depletion. The third thing is to resist the urge to over-communicate during the space, checking in constantly, sending long messages explaining your feelings, asking for updates. These things communicate anxiety, and anxiety in this moment is likely to push him further rather than draw him closer. You can choose to hold your own peace. That is not playing games. That is self-respect in action. The fourth thing is to use this time to observe honestly, without fear distorting what you see. When he returns, how does he return? Does he reach out with warmth? Does he acknowledge the distance in some way? Does he seem genuinely glad to be back with you? Or does he slide back in as if nothing happened, without any real acknowledgement of the gap he created? You deserve to see those answers clearly, and you can only see them clearly if you have not spent the space in panic. And the fifth thing is this: give yourself permission to name your own needs when the time is right. Giving him space does not mean your feelings about the distance do not matter. When he returns, and when the moment feels right, you can say, calmly and without accusation, "When I hear, 'I need space,' it can feel uncertain for me. I'd love for us to find a way to communicate that need that works for both of us." That is not pressure, that is emotional honesty, and a man who is genuinely invested in you will hear it. This is not about him anymore, this is about you. The real lesson in this moment is not about decoding his words, it is about what happens inside of you when someone you love creates distance. Because the intensity of that fear, the way 3 small words can send your whole nervous system into alert, is telling you something worth listening to. In many cases, the panic we feel when someone asks for space is less about him and more about an older story. A story that says, if someone I love pulls away, it means I am not enough, it means I am too much, it means love is conditional and could disappear at any moment. That story, my dear, is not the truth of you. It is a pattern that was written before you were old enough to question it. I want you to understand something deeply. A woman who is secure in her own worth does not fall apart when a man needs solitude. She gives him room, and she holds herself with the same warmth and care she so freely gives to others. She understands that love between 2 whole, grounded people sometimes requires space, and she trusts that if what they have is real, space will not destroy it, only neglect will. You deserve clarity, not confusion, and the clearest thing you can know right now is this: his need for space is his to hold. Your response to it is yours. Space in a relationship is not always a warning. Sometimes it is simply the room that 2 people with inner lives need to come back to each other more fully. Thank you for spending this time with me today, my dear. If this video helped you, please share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your heart. In the next video, we are going to talk about why he was so interested and then suddenly went cold, and how to tell the difference between someone who was pulling away and someone who was never fully there. Don't miss it, it builds directly on what we covered today. The link will be right here.